What's up, everybody? Big win. Big win today. Eagles over the Buffalo Bills, 31-13. Um, and in my estimation, one of the biggest wins of the season. Obviously, we only have four of them, but this was huge to me. This was really big. Um, so wait, I'll give it like a couple seconds till I get maybe a couple people in here. But and again, guys, just a disclaimer. It's only maybe my third stream. Just kind of getting it figured out, or trying to get it figured out. My ultimate goal is to get enough subscribers where I can actually do this from my mobile device, and I can stream wherever I have to, and not go through this streaming software. That is the ultimate goal there. So please, if you're catching this video and you're not subscribed, go ahead and give me a subscription. Of course, we know YouTube guidelines. It's 1,000 subscribers in order to stream freely wherever, and I'm far away from that. But let's see what we got here. All right, so okay, and the audio's good, video's good. Just working on these viewers here. But anyway, because everyone can rewind and see, but. Yeah, so the Eagles beat Buffalo 31-13 today in a game that, honestly, I didn't feel great about throughout the week. I just didn't, because I watched them get destroyed the past 2 weeks against the Vikings, which honestly I kind of thought was going to happen anyway, because the secondary was just so beat up, and the Vikings have some great wide receivers, and then against the Cowboys, which was more of a surprise to me, because the Dallas Cowboys, that game was a big game for the Eagles, and usually when they get beat soundly, they come back and they play a good game, and they usually win, and that wasn't the case last week. So very discouraged by what happened last week. So coming into this week, man, it was just hard to get any kind of juice for this game, because there was nothing to take away from the past two games that I thought was encouraging at all. I mean, you look at the Buffalo Bills, and obviously their offense, there's not much to be desired. Frank Gore's very old. He's playing great, don't get me wrong. They've got Singletary, who's a rookie, who's dynamic, but he's kind of where Miles Sanders is. Miles Sanders is way better, but what I'm saying is he really doesn't have a feel for the offense yet. And then you go to Josh Allen, who I think he's going to be a good quarterback. He sure did give the Eagles fits, but he's not there yet either. So yeah, you see their offense is not good, but their defense is stellar. They really have a good defense, one of the best in the league, I think, and it's only going to get better. That guy Edmonds, I think Trey Edmonds in the middle there, he is amazing. He's 6'5", 250 pounds, and their corners are good. Their line is good. So I'm looking at this going, okay, we have an Eagles offense that has no deep threat. They really don't have anything going for them. How in the world are we going to score on this football team? So yeah, going in just with those questions, I just didn't feel good about it. Honestly, just didn't feel good about it. And then the game started, and through the middle of the first quarter, I still didn't feel good about it. Josh Allen, I mean, there wasn't much pressure on him, and if there was, he was getting out of it. He was running around. I've watched this Eagles defense under Jim Schwartz struggle with quarterbacks like this. Time and time again, they're struggling against quarterbacks like this, whether it be Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, Drew Brees. I mean, if a quarterback has any kind of movement, this Eagles defense usually struggles mightily, and they did throughout this game. But through the beginning, and then to see the Eagles give up that touchdown to Cole Beasley, it was discouraging, man. And even when it was 3-0, I didn't feel good. When it was 7-3, I thought we're done. And look, I'm just being honest with you. I just thought that because the Eagles' offense was not getting anywhere. They just weren't. They weren't getting anywhere against this defense. So The biggest thing that happened during the game was obviously that turnover right before the half. The Eagles were starting to get to Allen a little bit, and then Derek Barnett with the strip sack, I believe. There was one earlier with Fletcher Cox, but the Eagles didn't jump on it. But the strip sack, they're right in position, and Carson Wentz orchestrated a great little drive there zone to make it. I think it was 11-7 going into half, and that was big, man. That 2-point conversion was big too. I'm sitting there watching the game with my dad as I always do, and I'm like, I can't believe he's going for two here, because if you miss it, it's now 9-7. These guys only need a field goal to be in front, and the way the game was looking was like, okay, whoever has a better defense is probably going to win, and the Bills have the better defense. I mean, I think that's fair to say, right? So yeah, man. But Doug went for it, and the Eagles capitalized and got that 2-point conversion. Boy, Miles Sanders, he's taken a lot of heat, and rightfully so. But he's taken a lot of heat from Eagle fans over the past, actually since the season began. And it's because he hasn't ran the ball that well. Great receiver. He played in the slot at Penn State and really was productive in that area. But as far as receiving, as far as rushing the ball, he just wasn't getting it done. I mean, I can't tell you offhand how many what was his yards per carry were, but they weren't great. I mean, whenever he had the fumble in the beginning of the season. I think it was against the Lions. That was a big one, and he just wasn't playing great as far as rushing the football. But today he had, in my opinion, a breakout game, man. What a great game by Miles Sanders today. And unfortunately, he gets hurt and comes out of the game. But that run was another big thing for the Eagles. Huge run to start the third quarter off. Doug Peterson, as it seems like he's been doing all year long, and since he's been a coach, is really kicking ass in that third quarter. DJ Birdman, what's up, dude? I figured I'd go live, man, because why not at this point? I'm going to do another video kind of recapping everything for everyone to see, but I think this is a good time to try to get some practice at doing this live stream. But man, it was a good win. And again, it just didn't feel, I'm telling you, I was not comfortable until they put that 30 spot on the board. And there's one thing that annoys me too about the Eagles. And it was like this last year, and it seems like it's like this year, and it just might be my brain overthinking things. But man, why does it seem like every single time, if the offense does something good, the next set of plays, the defense ends up just not doing, letting up a score, doing something bad. And then if the defense shuts a team down, it seems like the special teams or the offense lets up points. It does not seem like this team can get on the same page. But the Eagles did in the second half of this football game. They really did. I will burn this defense all the time. I'll tell you, Jim Schwartz, and I was doing it during the game. And then this defense to me is not a good Eagles defense. It's just not. I mean, it's not. And it's the only one that you can really blame is Howie Roseman, but I'll get to that later. But to do what they did today was impressive. And again, the Bills don't have shit on offense. No wide receivers, old running back. But the Eagles, the defense went into they weren't home. They went into a stadium where the fans are as rabid as Eagle fans, maybe more. And they shut the team down and made turnovers when it mattered. They really did. And I got respect for that. The defensive line, it's hard to contain Josh Allen, but I mean, DJ Birdman, if you're still watching, dude, I don't know about you, but it pissed me off seeing this guy just kind of run right through our defensive line and even our linebacking core. And once he got, and you know what? He got real cocky. And he got cocky towards the end of the second half, and he ran again, and he fumbled the football there, which gave the Eagles the edge and the win ultimately. But he got real cocky. Josh Allen got real cocky, and I was glad that happened. But it's just tough. And I'll talk about Howie Roseman, man. Howie Roseman has really hurt this team this year, and I think that there's not enough goes into it. The defensive line of the Eagles. I mean, do we all understand that's watching that Anthony Rush started today at defensive tackle? Anthony Rush. I mean, let's step in a time machine for a minute. Let's go back and let's tell ourselves, our past selves from summertime, that Anthony Rush was going to be a starting defensive tackle of the Eagles, and you'd be like, who? What happened to Malik Jackson? What happened to Tim Jernigan? What happened to Hassan Ridgeway? I mean, it's insane. It's really crazy when you think about it. That a guy that was on the Raiders practice squad, that every day he's probably hiding his phone, hoping not to get a phone call that he's cut, is now starting in a huge must-win game for the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, it's insane. And to me, again, this is on Howie Roseman. Look, obviously Howie Roseman can't control the guys getting hurt. Okay, he didn't expect Malik Jackson to get hurt. Big takeaway during the off season. A big get for the Eagles. He gets hurt first game. You can't help that. You can't help Tim Jernigan getting hurt again. You can't help Hassan Ridgeway getting hurt again. But when you have these injuries and it is trade time, and for the first time in the NFL, teams are making trades. They're making trades like baseball teams make trades. They're making trades like the NBA teams make trades. They are making trades, and the Eagles don't do anything. We just sit on our hands. Or Howie Roseman lowballs teams. I mean, that's what it is. You can't go into big games giving your team practice squad players. Now today you didn't face a great offense, so you're able to get away from it. But if you play Tom Brady and you play Russell Wilson with the defense that you put out today, it's not going to be pretty. So they have to get on the ball. Howie Roseman's got to do something. I would rather see a defensive tackle come in here because honestly, the way Jim Schwartz, and it hit me today, the way Jim Schwartz plays the cornerbacks in this defense, they play so far off of the wide receivers. I mean, I don't know if it's worth it getting another cornerback in here. You could probably survive with Darby and Mills like you did in 2017. But if you get some help for the line or linebackers, I mean, with this linebacking core, let's talk about this linebacking core for a second. Nate Gerry, I went on a tirade about Nelson Aguilar a couple weeks ago or last week. Nate Gerry is the Nelson Aguilar of the offense. He really is. This is a guy that he got faked out on the Josh Allen run, letting Cole Beasley go for the touchdown. Last week, Dak ran in for one where Gerry showed very little effort. He had like an interception against the Jets, I think one against the Falcons. But this dude, man, I'm tired of seeing him on my TV screen. I really am. Camus Grugier-Hill hasn't done much for us. Hopefully when Nigel Bradham gets back, things come up a little bit. I do like T.J. Edwards. I really like T.J. Edwards. I think he's not bad, not a bad one of the bunch. But this has been torturous watching these linebackers. Zach Brown, they pick him up. We think he's going to be good. He turns out to what he was. So Howie's got to help this team out at the trade deadline. But why this is a big win to me, and why I think, I don't know. I don't know if you can get on here. I'm like very pedestrian on working this right now. You probably could, but I'm not sure how to work it yet. I will research that so I can get people on here so I can talk to them. I think that'd be cool shit, but I just gotta figure it out. I'm a pro wrestler who decided to start talking about Eagles, and I haven't been able to research that part of live stream DJ Birdman, but I will. And speaking of wrestling, very successful match last night in Houston. But anyway, so talking about the Eagles' offense, I think this is big because the Eagles, you go through a week of drama and adversity, and Orlando Scandrick, who looks like a 12-year-old wearing an old man's Halloween costume, going on the Undisputed and the Herd and all these Eagle-hating TV shows on ESPN talking the worst shit about the Eagles, getting owned by them, by the Eagles putting out videos showing how he contradicts himself. You go through all that, okay? And again, an Eagles offense that you just, without Deshaun, and it's crazy that one player can do this to an offense, you're going in there shorthanded against and no Jason Peters either, but against a really good. I can't get over how good this Bills defense is. They're phenomenal, and it's going to be hard to win. But this offense had no turnovers, so which is huge. I mean, that's what you got to do. It's very simple to win if you're the Eagles. No turnovers and run Jordan Howard. Okay, and that's what the Eagles did today. They didn't commit any mistakes, very few penalties, and Carson Wentz, number 11, and people are going to sit here. If you watch me, I'll stick up for Carson Wentz all the time. I do hate how he kind of bird dogs receivers. But anyway, Carson Wentz comes in, bro, dude, and does not blink, and he's getting hit. He's getting pressured. Guys aren't getting open, but he doesn't blink at all. They've got. I think the first and second. The reason why the first and second quarters are so lackluster is I really think when they go into halftime, they make adjustments from there. It's kind of like the reverse Andy Reid. Like if you remember Andy Reid, he used to the first half of football games would be great for him, and then when he would have to adjust, it was horrible because he couldn't adjust. Doug's good at adjusting, I think, and the fact that they weren't down by 14 or 10, helps out. And also, I just think because the offense and defense, they're missing some key contributors, both sides, and it's just hard to get a feel for the game until halftime. That's what I'm going to guess. Again, this game, it wasn't so bad. I mean, the second quarter wasn't really a bad quarter for the Eagles. Obviously, they scored the touchdown at the end, but the fact that they didn't commit any turnovers against this great defense or much mistakes, I think it's just huge. And now you go, that third quarter, man, Carson Wentz said, he put the team on his back. He really did. He figured out when he had to run the ball. He threw the ball precisely when he had to. The catch by Zach Ertz at the 5-yard line was big. I mean, the guy is playing. Today he played like an elite quarterback. He had now the stats. You look at the stats. You go, okay, 178 yards, 1 touchdown, 104.9 quarterback rating. That's not the best, but man, look at what he did in that third. That's why stats don't mean shit. Look how he ran that offense. Ran it. Audibling plays, reading the defenses. He still's got to work on reading blitzes. I don't think he's the best at doing that, but man, he really took over. And I think if you look at the number one or two big things at winning this game, or huge things, was him. Yeah, man. Tomorrow's a huge day for Howie, because Tuesday's the deadline. So tomorrow and into Tuesday, I think 4 p.m. is it. He's got to make a move. He just has to. And yeah, Carson, the past couple of games, if you look at him sideline, he's just pissed off. You can tell he's a pissed off quarterback, and I don't mind that. Because you got guys dropping footballs and play calling being horrible, and you're playing your heart out there. It's gonna piss you off. But today, man, he showed why we all love him. He showed why we all love Carson Wentz, or at least the Wentz apologists do. He showed to me today the things that everybody likes to laud Nick Foles for. He just no fear in there against, again, a really good defense. If I'm Howie Roseman, I'm going for Robbie Anderson, Devontae Parker. I really am. That's what I'm gonna pick up one of them, because again, like you just said, DJ Birdman, if Deshaun Jackson comes back, he didn't get surgery, so the thing going on in his abdomen, or if he has a hernia, can flare up at any time. So you need to get something. And it sucks. Second year in a row, you got to get a wide receiver, but they've got to. You don't have any choice. It's got to happen. So yeah, I would definitely go for a wide receiver. And then big shout out to my buddy Adam Payton. I was talking to him earlier through text, and I would also look, and this is going to sound crazy, I would go for Von Miller. I would try to trade for Von Miller. I really would. I would. I mean, he would help the veteran leadership, the impact he'd have, the swagger on this defense. It's worth giving up a 1-4 at this point. Bleeding Green Nation, what's going on, dude? Reports that the Birds will make multiple trades. Yeah, I saw that. I saw a trade saying they're expecting to make multiple trades and maybe trading somebody away. Obviously, that's going to be talking about Halavali Vaitai. I'm not even going to try to say his name. Big V. They're talking about maybe trading him to the Browns. Look, dude, this is what makes general managers right here. This time, If you can get something, and again, I'm not big on trading Big V because you're already down Jason Peters. You know what I'm saying? And Dillard played good today for the most part. I thought. Again, this is a good defense that you're playing. Look at what we're asking this rookie to do. We're asking this rookie to come in against the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. We all know Dallas has a good front. And then we're asking him to go into Buffalo and play against their front. And I think he's held up pretty well. Yo, that third down play, Nelson, oh my God, was horrible. I think Von Miller's 31. But that third down play, 3rd and 4, you get cute and you do some like back handoff to Nelson Aguilar. I'm at this point, I'm not surprised. And they tried it before and it didn't work. So it makes you think it's going to work again. Stupid. Dumb. And I think he learned his lesson later because they kept giving the rock to 24. I mean, I really hope, and I haven't checked in a little bit, but I really hope that Miles Sanders is not severely injured. I heard it was a shoulder, but man, he really, because it's such an Eagle thing to do at this point. But he looked like he was having that breakout game. That 65-yard run, man, and whoever's watching, I mean, you can agree, was a thing of beauty. And a lot of it starts because, and again, I'm a big number 11, number 24 fan, but Jordan Howard, that block he put on that linebacker was fucking phenomenal. It was sweetness at best. And Miles Sanders took advantage of it. Showed why he's dual. He can be a dual threat. I think we forget that this is his rookie year, man. It's his rookie year. But I'm seeing things in the passing game. He played in the slot at Penn State and played well. That's starting to contribute here, with the Eagles. And then he looked great running too. Awesome play. And while I'm talking about rookies, let me get this off my chest. Hold on. Okay. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Another game. No catches. No positive contributions to this team. And maybe in the past you could say, well, he's a rookie. You can't expect much of him. Bullshit. Because, and we're going to see this guy in a couple weeks. 3 weeks. I'm watching DK Metcalf in Seattle being a reliable receiver today. 2 touchdowns. 2. This dude, and I was campaigning for him, man. I couldn't believe he was still there in the second round when we picked, and he was still there. A freak of nature, this guy. Really, he really is. If you look at his body, unbelievable. Reminds me of Terrell Owens. Obviously, I'm not on Teal level now, but man, he's Russell Wilson. Can count on DK Metcalf. Can we count on J.J. Arcega-Whiteside? No. Do we? Hold on, I'll get to this Boston Scott comment in a minute. Can we get anything out of him? No, I can't. I mean, what's the over-under on catches for J.J. Arcega-Whiteside game per game? 1. Darius Slay of the New York Giants. 2 touchdowns. Not Slay, Slayton. But Slay could be a guy that we could get if we're looking at the corners. Slayton, I'm not sure what his first name is. He sits there. He's 2 touchdowns today. I'm not sure how many on the year, but I know it's more than 2. And that, I mean, I could go on, but those are just 2 that were going on during the game today. And I'm going, you got to be kidding me as these game breaks are coming, and it's making me sick. Minshew, the quarterback from the Jaguars. We picked Clayton Thorson, who's now on the Cowboys practice squad, and the 5th round. I think Minshew went in the 6th or later in the 5th. It's mind-numbing, and it's why these picks, to me, trade these picks away, because they don't mean anything. We can't. The team we have right now isn't good at picking players, apparently. So let's trade who we can get. And really, man, I still think the 49ers obviously are undefeated. I think we could beat them, to be honest, if we get a couple pieces in here. The Saints are good. I think we could beat them too. I think the NFC is wide open. If the Eagles play like they did today, get a couple pieces that can contribute, and get some guys off of that injured list, I think that we can make waves. And Boston Scott, I'm explaining to my dad who he is today. He scores. I'm going, yeah, man. He came in garbage time. He's like a Sproles type player. And then next thing you know, fumbles the punt. He giveth and he taketh away. And that could have been big if the defense didn't step up there. But yeah, I don't mind. I like Boston Scott, man. I don't mind him. I think because he's always showing when he comes in during these garbage time or even in the preseason, man, he always shows something positive. I don't think he's a punt returner or a kick returner. I just don't. And that's where we're missing Darren Sproles tremendously. And again, going back to Howie Roseman, did any Eagle fan out there or anyone watching that's not an Eagle fan think for 1 second that we would never see Darren Sproles on an injury report this year? You knew it was just he was gonna be injured at some point, but we signed him, right? Instead of going for somebody maybe a little bit younger or going a different way, you sign a guy that you know is gonna get hurt. Same with Deshaun. Now I didn't think he'd be out this long, but you knew he was gonna miss a couple games. So so the Eagles win big today. Again, I just think it's a huge win because the confidence level and bringing this team up and all the talk that was about them being a mess in the locker room and leadership and all this bullshit. I think to win like they did today, it shows team unity. I mean, I heard on the radio, and people that don't like Carson all the time say this. Oh, the offensive line doesn't like him. He's not on the sideline smacking heads and getting in their face or whatever. He only talks to Nate Sudfeld. I saw a couple times after some really big plays where he's chest bumping Lane Johnson, and Lane Johnson's high fiving him, and he's commanding this offense. And if he can do that, man, you got some big games coming up. If he can do that next week, we go back to the link against the Bears. I'm telling you. And we got a couple of additions. I mean, look, man, watch out. Because, again, we look at the Bills, and I know people that don't like the Eagles are going to sit here and say, it's the Bills. Who'd they really beat? Their one loss was to a good team, the Patriots. The other games they won, I think the teams had a combined record of 6-27. They look shitty against the Dolphins. Well, I say they look shitty against the Dolphins, so you would think they'd have a good game this week. But they didn't. Which they should have. Their defense. You cannot doubt the talent of the Bills' defense. You just can't. They have a stellar defense. They were 5-1 for a reason. You play who you play. Bad teams lose to bad teams. Good teams, they beat good teams, and the Bills haven't done that. So maybe they're not good. So that just messes up my whole thought on this. But either way, you go to the Bills Stadium against the Bills Mafia and a defense that lights out with an offense that hasn't been good, and you take a win away, and you don't just squeak away a win like I saw people predicting. Oh, it's going to be a 19-17 game. Oh, it's going to be ugly 20 to another thing. It was raining. The weather was shitty, and the Eagles came out on top. 31-13 they win, not 17-19, not 20-17, not 14-10. 31 points. Big win at a time when they needed a big win. If they would have came out of here winning 20-17, we all would have been happy. But I think it's a little defense isn't as good. I think they got a couple guys that are injured. Mitch Trubisky doesn't look good. They lost by a missed field goal. We know that we did that to them last year. They're going to come into the link with revenge on their minds and trying to have one of those get-right games. So it's going to be a big game. We have a guy named Jordan Howard that is going to be as fierce as anyone, trying to prove to this team that the Chicago Bears team, that they should have kept him. And we better run the shit out of him this game. But I think I've rant and raved enough. Again, if you're watching, man, thank you. Thank you for watching this live stream. I'm sure there's a million Philadelphia Eagle live streams going on right now because we're all pretty much really psyched about this win. I'm going to do an edited video just talking a little bit about the win and what we have to do in the next couple days because, again, it is it as DJ said, it is a big game. I'm sorry, a big couple days for the Philadelphia Eagles, and Howie's got to do something. If he comes away from this trade deadline with nothing or some like bullshit, here's you know the New Orleans Saints third string wide receiver that I got for nothing. Here we go. This is good enough, or doesn't. I'm gonna be pissed, and we're all gonna be pissed as fans because there's some names going around. Josh Norman from the Redskins, they're shopping him. Josh Norman's half the player he was, but wouldn't mind him over Sidney Jones. And look, I'm talking about Sidney Jones. I mentioned him to my father today. I'm going, oh look, there's Sidney Jones. He's on the field. What happens next? Wide receiver beats him for a pass. He barely tackles him. So yeah, Josh Norman's a name. Darius Slay from the Lions is a name. Would love to have him here again. I'm contradicting myself because I said that I don't think a corner will help. But if you can get these guys on a cheap thing, do it, and bolster that line at the same time. That's a big thing for me. Denver is a team to look at because they are not going to win many more games. They lost today, so they're looking to sell. Again, Von Miller is a dude for me. I think he's 31 years old, but he can help this Philadelphia Eagles defense. So we'll see, guys. We'll see. I'm definitely got Eagles win 31-13 against the Buffalo Bills. Go into Buffalo and really just have their way with this team. Jordan Howard, Miles Sanders, Boston Scott. Take care of business. Carson Wentz looks like Carson Wentz again against a really good defense. Probably besides the Bears, you're not going to see a better defense than the Bills' defense this year. Patriots too, but either way, Bills' defense is right up there with all of them, and the Eagles put up a 30 spot. So I could talk about this shit all night. I really could, but I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna bask in the glory of an Eagles victory as we all do. Fly, Eagles, fly. DJ Birdman, thanks again for sticking with me through the whole time. Bleeding Green Nation, thanks for chiming in. And everybody else is going to watch this in the future. Thank you. Like, subscribe, share. Go Birds. I'll have a video coming up probably next couple hours. And that is it. Fly Eagles, fly.